What's good? This is Trey, and the topic of this video is how you as a man can become higher status, right? So, the reason this topic is important because your status does play a part in how attractive you are to women, right? The higher status you are, the more attractive you'll be to women. Why? If we go back to the some of the core, like the core reason of what women find attractive in a man, and we're looking like at the biological level, what's going on there is basically the man who's demonstrating the most survival and the most survival values in her eyes, right? The specific survival values that she's looking for, that guy is who's gonna turn her on the most, right? And there's some core survival values that women look for, right? The main five ones is pre-selection, protector of loved ones, healthy emotions, leader of men, and successful risk taker, right? A high status guy, if you understand the concept that women are looking for guys who demonstrate survival value, a guy of high status is demonstrating high survival value in the sense that he is gonna have more relationships, more access to resources, more influence, more connections. He's basically going to be able to provide a higher quality or experience of life than somebody of a lower status, right? So not that you can't be a low status and still get women, you can, but if you buck heads or you meet up with the guy who's higher status, and let's say he has similar qualities to what you have as far as your attractive qualities, she's more than likely going to go with the higher status guy, and rightfully so, because he's demonstrating more survival value, right? So as a man, how can you become more higher status? Well, basically, your status, for the most part, is determined by how much value you give to mankind, right? And there's different ways to give value, right? Like, okay, some guys, they go in a very specific route. Like, for example, a guy who plays basketball. If he gets really good at basketball and he can entertain people and play at a high level and win and all that shit, he can raise his status by playing at higher levels, right? You start at in high school, you start at junior varsity, then you go to varsity, then you go to college, then you go to college, you play on the college team, and if you're really good, you know what I mean, you can go and play in the NBA, or you can go and play overseas or whatever. Doing these things raise your status because your value, the value that you're putting out, that you're giving to mankind, is very high. And another way to look at it is, you know, um, you want to become a guy who basically makes people feel the emotions they want to feel. Like, if you think about the example I just gave, a basketball player, he's able to create a lot of emotions with his basketball skills, right? He can make people happy. The people, when he's playing real good or whatever, people get happy. Oh yeah, like, let's say he's playing on the team that they like. When he performs well and whatever, people get really happy and excited. Oh, we're winning, we're winning, we're winning. But he can also make people get mad, but not like a mad, like a serious mad, like a competitive mad, like, oh man, he's beating us or whatever. You know what I mean? He can emotionally affect people, right? And in an entertaining way, and that's value, right? So that's just an example I'm giving. A businessman, he has a certain type of value. Um, Music, art guy, somebody who's into art, who can create really amazing art, that's a certain type of value. A guy who is just very good, skilled in the workplace or whatever, if he can raise his status in the workplace, right? Basically, your status goes up the more your value goes up, the more you can serve others, the more you can make people's lives better, the more your status goes up. So your status is basically a reflection of how much value you are given in your marketplace, in your niche, in your community, in your life. Basically, you can look at that and it will tell you. So if you're somebody who you feel like you have a lot of value to give or whatever, but you're not at a high status, you need to figure out why. Maybe you're not giving your value enough, or maybe you haven't found the right outlet, or maybe you're not stepping outside your comfort zone. Maybe you need to do some bigger things to get a reach, higher, better reach. Like, bringing up your status is something that any man can do. You just figure out what value you're going to communicate, and you start communicating that value. We're putting that value out a lot, right? If it's in your workplace, figure out how you can become one of the, provide the most value in the workplace, and opportunities will come your way, right? Basically, you want to be the kind of guy, like I said, makes people feel the emotions they want to feel, a guy who can get people results. You know what I mean? People want results that makes them feel good. A guy that can make, entertain. A guy that can give people what they want, whatever they're seeking. Basically be a solution to people's problems. Like basically, you have to serve. You have to serve. You have to be about others, right? And the more you're about others, the more your status will go up, because you'll be affecting more people, and opportunities will come your way to raise your status, right? And if you keep putting out, you serve and serve, and people will give you money too. Like if your value is high enough, people will happily give you money, right? So not only you raising your status, you're raising your income. You know what I mean? That's a form of raising your status as well. So the whole point of raising your status really is just to become more valuable, right? Like that's basically what your status represents, like your value, right? Your value to the world, right? Like I said, there's different routes to take. You got to figure out what niche can you go into, or what value can you provide, and you start providing it. You start putting it out. Stop focusing on what do I get in return, or what's in it for me. Just put out, because it will come back to you. It will come back to you, but you got to be consistent, putting out your value. If your value is not, people don't want your value, you got to get the value that people want, right? Because some people think, some people have an ego or whatever and think they're so great, but if nobody is responding to you in that way, saying that you're great or happy for your value, whatever, then probably there's a reason for that. Like you got to look at the feedback. Like what kind of feedback are you getting? Like, do people want to be around you? Do people enjoy your time? Do people enjoy your communication? Do they enjoy what you're doing, or do people try to get away from you? Right? If people are trying to get away from you, or avoid you, or not interested, or whatever, it's because you're not demonstrating the value that they seek. If you demonstrate the value that somebody seeks, they will do whatever it takes to get that value. Like if it's the real thing, like the real deal. So you want to become the real deal. You want to become the best version of yourself, and become a man of value, a man that gives, a man that he creates an effect, right? He creates an effect in the world, and he makes people feel the emotions they want to feel. And he can even, if you want to take it to that level, raise people's vibrations, right? Raise people's energy, make people inspired, make people feel good, motivated, give them positive energy, positive emotions. You know what I mean? Like you want to be a guy who is not bland and just kind of just there. Like you want to be a guy that actually makes an impact when he shows up, right? And a positive impact, not a negative impact. All right, so that's how you go about raising your status. If you're a man that is looking to raise your status and you want some specific advice on that, or you just need help with your dating life in general, how you can become more attractive to women, go ahead and send me a private message. Let's have a little conversation and see what steps you need to take to start getting the results you want in your dating life. Thanks for watching. Peace.